Okay.
Yeah.
So
what was it like for you? You knew this was a book about Greek mythology, but you also knew you knew very little
Yes.
about mythology. So
Yes.
what was that like for you?
Well, I think it was wonderful because it brought me back to what I did know, but then it gave me a different perspective on it, which I think is what you were trying to accomplish. And so I think that went really well. It gave me a sense of more of the feminine story and, yeah, these strong, powerful women that were accomplished and able to have, deep, meaningful relationships, and that for the first time, a lot of the men were ancillary to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, not that they weren't important characters, but yeah, just to have the female voice more prominent in the female character was really fun.
Yay, good. Great first answer. I'm here with Claire.
Hey!
Hey! She's one of my beta readers, which means she read the rough draft of my book, one of the very, very first 4 people to read my draft and give me helpful feedback. So just how was the journey of reading for you?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because that's exactly where I wanted to start. It's just I read a lot. I love reading, and I read a very eclectic kind of bunch of books, whether it's biographical or historical or novels. And so writing and language are really important to me. I really value them. Grammar is, something that's really important to me as well. And so reading your book, when I first thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be their first book, how's this going to be? I was really impressed. I thought that the flow of the book, the flow of the storyline, the arc of the story, it just went really nicely and smoothly. So it kept my interest. It kept me wanting to know what was happening. It was fun to be able to put it down and go, oh, I'm going to have that later on as like this special treat. Super accessible, believable, as far as the characters and what the setting that they're in and what they're trying to accomplish. So yeah, I'm impressed, New Song.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
Thanks.
Really great.
And because you read such a wide variety of books, what books would you say are adjacent to my book? And this could mean a lot of different things. So like which ones maybe match the mood, or it's not always genre specific, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to me, I immediately went into that genre, and to that idea of it being in a particular genre, and then I'm thinking, it's not really like a fantastical story, it's a mythical story. So to me it goes more to the mythopoetics and that kind of realm. It touches on that and the descriptions of nature and the importance of nature in it, and then again the feminine voice being prominent. So yeah, that's what I think comes to mind for me.
What books can you think of any similar
books? I mean, not to be too lofty, but I think of those big voyages, like the Iliad and things like that. It's kind of like in that kind of realm.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, those are two extremes, mind you. The Iliad is like a major thing, but still, that idea, the Iliad being, kind of like the easier, more accessible version of the Odyssey, and so I think that's what your book gives as well. It's like an easier, accessible novel to those very important Greek mythologies.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been really struggling to classify the genre of my book recently because, it is, fantasy.
Yes,
it is, but in a way it's historical fantasy. I did a lot of research.
Yes.
And I feel like my influence came less from other fantasy books and actually more from like Milan Kundera's Unbearable Lightness of Being.
Right.
Or
there's a depth to it that's not in that fantasy world.
Yeah, or it's rarely in it.
Yes. But what I'm saying is your book has the depth to it.
Oh, thank you.
Just the way that you describe a scene. You know, it's not just to engage the reader and their, you know, kind of get them hyped up. It's more, engaging. It's more about the storytelling. It feels like to me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Which is in line with kind of you and how you are in the world.
Thanks.
You're a good storyteller generally.
Thank you.
So now you've been able to put it down in words over numerous pages, which I think that's the feat, right?
Yeah.
To be able to have that idea. I mean, I can see that you've kind of placed it in a way. I know I've just read the first version, but the you know, like encapsulating moments and like stories within stories in a way, but then the interconnectedness of those stories too.
Oh, I'm glad you picked up on that too, because in a way I almost felt like I was writing a series of short stories that combined in one story, because that's what life feels like sometimes.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah. But it connects.
Thank
you know, so it doesn't feel like they're disjointed or what? Now we're in this situation? Wait a minute, who are these people?
Right.
And you kind of feel like, okay, I know it's going to be looped back or somehow connected. So
you know how we got where we went.
Yes. Yep.
So can we talk a little bit about the themes in the book and what stood out to you as the themes? Because I feel like there's a few answers here.
Oh gosh, okay.
How many books have you read since you read my book?
No, but I think themes are so important, right? Because that's what holds things together. And so for me, what, you know, like this is such a personal, so less than an academic reaction to your question, is more that sense of fierce independence, ability to withstand trials and tribulations. Of course, there's the beautiful love story, you know, so love, and what does love look like and what can it look like? And so I think there's variations of that. Trauma, there's certainly trauma. Recovery and being able to live with trauma and still be a whole person. Those are the things that really struck me. You know, it's that feeling of not a wimpy hopefulness, but much more of a fuller, like these characters that have gone through these enormous, violent, destructive moments in their lives, and yet are still able to deepen into themselves as people and live with those histories. So I think that was a big thing for me that traveled through.
Yeah. And how do you feel that the discussions around trauma were handled in as far as sensitivity? And this is a big question I have for all my beta readers. Was it re-traumatizing or healing or something else to see these depictions of the people moving through these traumatic events?
Yeah, I think for me of course it's always awful. You know, when you read about these things that are real that happen to people, it's awful. And yet I think you do it in a way that's not sensationalizing or gory, which a lot of, I think, modern, whether it's movies or, you know, films and books, it's like that shock factor. To me, you didn't do that. It was more getting in touch with how that was impacting the individual and then what that meant for them ongoing. So I think there's definitely a hopefulness, and not an unreachable hopefulness. It wasn't this like sugary, like, okay, now we're all, you know, in a better relationship and we're all so happy now. No, it was like more real life. Yeah. So more relatable in that way.
Yeah, and so as someone who has studied Jungian psychology, and Claire's a therapist, family therapist, Can you speak a little bit about archetypal and mythic archetypes within mythic worlds and how that affects the brain and healing and
Oh gosh. Now, New Song, you're asking like a massive question there.
yeah. And we're gonna cut this into a 10-second slice.
This is when they're gonna swipe. They're gonna like,
or when I get famous, they're gonna watch the whole thing,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Wow, this is really intelligent. Look at all these smart people."
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, archetypes are again related to themes that travel through societies and cultures and are seen as overarching characteristics and personalities that we all hold within ourselves and in the world and in our societies. So yeah, there's certainly the ones of in your novel. Well, there's so many, right? There's the mother,
Mm-hmm.
there's nature, there's the perpetrator, there's the warrior. Yeah, there's so again, I think it's related to what I was talking about before in regard to different aspects of each character are within each character at different points in time, and those manifest because of circumstance or necessity.
Mm-hmm.
For whether it's surviving something or getting through something. So I'm not sure if I'm totally answering your question, but
It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing amazing. Who is your favorite character? Got it.
It's kind of hard, actually. Yeah. I mean, I guess I like bits of various ones of them. I mean, I do, being a mother, I do love the mother in the sense of her connection to nature. I just love the scenes of the mother living in the cave and, just being so connected to and being a part of it all. So I think that's my favorite, probably.
Yeah. And that's where I really appreciated your insight.
Okay.
Claire was my only beta reader who is a mother.
Okay.
And so you really offered me, so much of the story is about women's experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to get them all.
Yeah.
And, there's these birthing scenes, there's women who love women, there's periods, there's birth, death, everything in between.
Yeah.
And you really brought to light how important that mother role is in there, not just in the birthing process, but in for the whole part.
Yeah. Well, and again, to me, it's the Mother Earth bit.
Mm-hmm.
That first mother, that the story starts out with. She's so earth-based, and she's just a part of the earth, and then of course we think of Mother Earth. But yeah, I love that bit.
Yeah.
Kind of the wildness and the freedom and the connectedness to all that she was surrounded by.
Yeah, that's Callisto's mother.
Yeah. Yes.
She's definitely got that.
Yeah, Callisto's mother.
Yeah. And let's talk about some of the other themes.
Okay.
So how do you feel about, you and I have done ceremony together, so I was very excited for you to read the scenes where they're in ceremony, and I was wondering if you could share your reactions to that.
They were peaceful and sweet. Like I loved the village women coming, or the city women. They were kind of like not really from a village. They were more kind of from a bigger
one of those,
community in a way, and that had kind of in some ways been a little bit removed from nature, and then coming in and being so healed by those practices, and then being simple kind of disrobing of conditioning, or disrobing of maybe ideology that was restricting them and who they wanted to be as women,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I thought those scenes were really like, ooh, I want to go to one of those.
Yeah. That sounds like
Can I find one of those instead of all these really messed up ones?
Right. I'd like to find a whole community of supportive people.
People that are really balanced and grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And can live with the challenges or limitations of their lives or the difficulties, but not, yeah.
You can experience it in my stories.
Yeah, there you go.
And Astro, how do you feel about Artemis? You know, Artemis tamed wolves and had some of the
yes,
first
that's
domestic
right.
dogs. Yes. Yeah. Do you feel a kinship? Pant twice for yes. Good boy.
Astro.
Can you give my book 5 tail wags? Maybe. Okay. All right, let's talk about the really fun stuff. Let's talk about the spice.
Yes.
And how was that for you?
Well, you know, it's so funny because when you said that, you're like handing her the book going, I'm just warning you. So I thought, oh no. What is this going to be? What's the new song talking about?
Did new song just hand me erotica?
Yeah, and then I thought, oh, is it going to be like really cheesy, crazy stuff? And to me, it was just this beautiful love affair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it wasn't saucy in a cheapy way. It was more about, yeah, that deeper love, like that recognition of each other within each other, the supportiveness of each other, the trying to manage, you know, the difficulties that happened between them, and you know, for poor Callisto, and yeah. So I don't know. I just felt like those were just that beautiful deepening of a relationship and attraction and sensuality. To me, it was sensuality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the tactileness of being a human in a body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have this God, you know, so I think you did a great job of the powerfulness of those moments, you know, the sort of like being overtaken in a way, you know, and being possessed by things that you almost don't expect, you know, like Callisto's kind of naivety in a way, but then just trusting going with her physical desires. So yeah, no, I thought those were great.
Yeah, thank you. When I was writing them, I wanted them to be sacred and sexy at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, because it is.
I think you accomplished
sexy.
that. Yes, yes.
Yes, and it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't want to shy away from any of the parts of life.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Can you think of any questions or things that stood out for you that...
Yeah, again, you know, I think for me, the languaging and the descriptions, I can't stand it when there's overly flowery descriptions, and I think that's often what happens when people are first writing. And I thought you did a beautiful job of having enough descriptive techniques and style, I guess more your style, that it was, I could imagine these places or this moment that was described in the book without it being like, okay, now
what's happening?
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Let's move on now. You know, which I think a lot of novels these days are more like that.
Yeah.
That are more, yeah.
I guess it depends on what you're reading, but yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It depends how much you read. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Sort of the populist kind of books at the moment that I see.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This was fabulous.
Nothing else you can think of?
No, those were my main
highlights.
questions. My one beta reader told me it was romantasy for queer hearts who know sorrow, which I thought was really beautiful. And then I learned what happens in romantasy. Okay. And it turns out I had a little bit more of a PG-13 idea of romantasy, and I'm not sure that my book totally fits into that anymore.
Right.
There is fantasy and there is romance. There is spice, but like you said, there's not tropes. It's not tropey. You don't necessarily know exactly what's happening or going to happen.
No,
it's
definitely not. That's what engages you. Yeah,
it's character driven. It's exploration driven of like what it means to be human and to exist in a world that has all this beauty but also all this pain. And I don't know that romantasy totally captures that.
And I don't think fantasy does either.
No.
To me, it doesn't go in the realm of fantasy.
Yeah, and
because we're talking about historic
historical.
mythological figures.
Mm-hmm.
So, but mythological, not fantasy to me.
Right. Yeah, and I actually, as a kid, I read a ton of fantasy.
Right.
And as an adult, I read more sci-fi because I feel like science fiction really explores those themes, but in a future way of, what our humanity, what patterns bring us to a certain situation, how we interact if we're on like a ship, or like these ways that really explore what it is to be human and how we act. The psychological and the sociological just aspects of humanity, and that's what interests me more. But obviously my book's not sci-fi. But I read more literature and science fiction and things that are more than just surface stories.
Entertainment. They're not they might be entertaining, but not entertainment.
And I like some fluff here and there.
Yeah, it's fun.
I read
we all like to look at People magazine sometimes.
Right. And I could imagine reading some romantasy, and I love that some people can't get enough of the romantasy and the tropes, and the like two people, enemies to lovers, one bed, but that's not what my book is. Right. Not to like hate on those stories are great. Yeah. And this is something different.
Accomplish.
Yeah, so I'm really sitting with how do I advertise this as something that I think young people would enjoy it. I think a 20-year-old could read it. Yeah. But I think actually more the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s crowd are going to read it and be like, oh, yes, like this is touching my heart. This is, it's adult, even though it's not all adult protagonists.
You know what I was thinking? We're still recording, but maybe you should get your beta readers to interview you. Too.
Would you like to interview me as